Alright, I'm gonna say it straight. Most horror movies today rely far too much on jump scares, loud noises, quick cuts and done, but that's not the kind of horror that sticks with you forever. The films that I'm going to be talking to you about today, these are the ones that get inside your head and they do not leave. So if you're tired of cheap scares and want something that actually messes with you, then let's get into it. This one is seriously underrated. The Lodge is a 2019 psychological horror film directed by Veronica France and Severin Fiala. I definitely did not pronounce that correctly. It explores themes of isolation, faith and grief through a tense, slow-building narrative. The movie follows a woman who's snowed in at a remote cabin with her fiancé's 2 children. Now, what starts as an awkward bonding trip quickly turns into something far darker when strange things begin happening inside the house. Now, on the surface, it sounds just your typical isolated horror setup, but what makes this work is how it plays with your perception. You're constantly questioning what's real, what's manipulation, and who you can actually trust. It's cold, it's bleak, and it slowly strips away any sense of safety. This isn't a film that scares you in bursts, it wears you down mentally.
You're not listening.
I'm listening. Come on. Give it to me.
Number 9, Saint Maud. This film is all about obsession and it is uncomfortable in the best way. Saint Maud is a 2019 British psychological horror film written and directed by Rose Glass. We follow a young nurse who becomes obsessed with saving the soul of a terminally ill patient, but as her religious beliefs intensify, her grip on reality starts slipping. What makes this so unsettling is that you're inside her head the entire time. You see the world the way she sees it, and that's where it gets uncomfortable. You're constantly asking yourself, is this divine intervention or is she completely just losing it? And the film never gives you an easy answer. That final moment alone is enough to stick with you for days. This is one of those films where you just sit there afterwards thinking, what did I just watch?
What's on my mind? There's my little saint. Maud.
Number 8, The Killing of a Sacred Deer. This one is weird, but I mean that in the best way possible. The Killing of a Sacred Deer was released in 2017 and we follow a surgeon whose life starts to fall apart after he forms a strange relationship with a teenage boy. Soon, his family begins experiencing a series of unexplained and terrifying events. The story itself is actually quite disturbing, but it's actually the way it's told that really does get under your skin. The dialogue is flat, emotionless, almost sort of robotic, and that creates this constant unease, like something is deeply wrong even before anything actually happens. It's slow, it's uncomfortable, and it forces you to sit in that discomfort the entire time. There's this constant sense of dread, like something terrible is coming, but you don't know when or how. And when it does start happening, it's not loud or dramatic, it's quiet, cold, and deeply disturbing. It's the kind of film that just makes you feel uncomfortable the whole time while you're there watching it, and that is actually the point.
My husband told me about you and your father.
Oh, he did? Did he also tell you about my mom?
No.
Sorry. Ever since your husband killed my father, he's been flirting with my mom.
Number 7, It Follows. This film has one of the most simplest concepts in horror, but it's also one of the most effective. After a sexual encounter with her boyfriend, a young woman is given a curse. She finds herself being followed by something, an entity that can look like anyone, something that walks slowly towards her, and it will never stop, not until it reaches her. That is the entire concept, and it is terrifying, because it's It's not about sudden scares, it's about constant tension. Even background shots, every wide frame, you are constantly there scanning, looking for it in the background. And once you understand the rules, it sticks in your head and you start thinking, what would I do in that situation? And that is what makes it so effective.
Hello? Hello?
Number 6, The Babadook. Now this is a perfect example of psychological horror done right. On the surface it's about a monster, but really it's about grief, trauma and mental exhaustion. The Babadook is a 2014 Australian psychological horror film written and directed by Jennifer Kent. In the film we follow a single mother struggling to raise her troubled son after the death of her husband. But when a mysterious children's book appears in their home, something sinister seems to take hold. What starts as a creepy story quickly turns into something much deeper. The horror comes from how real it feels, the exhaustion, the frustration, and it all builds into something genuinely terrifying. And the Babadook monster itself, absolutely terrifying. Number 5, Midsommar. This film is just unsettling from start to finish. A group of friends travel to a remote Swedish village to experience a rare summer festival. But what starts as a peaceful cultural trip slowly reveals something much darker beneath the surface. What makes it different is that everything is in broad, bright daylight. There's nowhere to hide, but there's also no darkness, no shadows, and yet it feels completely just wrong. It's all about manipulation, control, and slowly losing your sense of reality. And you've got front row seats on this, you're watching everything unfold in plain sight, but it still feels like an absolute nightmare, and by the end, you're not even sure how you're supposed to feel about the movie. That's what makes it so effective, and for days after watching this one, you will not be able to stop thinking about it. Number 4, Black Swan. Now this one does lean more into the psychological thriller aspect, but it absolutely belongs on this list. It's a film all about obsession, perfection, and losing control of your own identity. We follow a ballerina pushing herself to perfection for a major role. But as the pressure builds, her sense of reality starts to fracture. You're watching her slowly lose control of who she is. And the film blends reality and hallucination so seamlessly that you don't know what's actually happening anymore. It's very intense, it's obsessive, and deeply uncomfortable to watch at certain times. The film is actually acclaimed for its intense performances and its unsettling imagery and exploration of duality and obsession in the performing arts. This is a film that really will stick with you long after the credits have rolled. Number 3, The Witch. The Witch is a 2015 psychological horror film written and directed by Robert Eggers. Set in 1600 New England, we follow a family living in isolation on the edge of a forest after being cast out of their community. When strange things begin happening, paranoia quickly takes over. It is slow and it is also quiet, but it builds this overwhelming sense of dread that just keeps growing. The paranoia, the fear, the breakdown of the family, it all feels incredibly real. And the way it plays on religious fear and isolation just makes it even more that unsettling. This is the kind of horror that gets under your skin without needing to scream at you. And this film isn't every horror fan's cup of tea, granted, but if you're into something that's a little bit different, then this one is for you. Number 2, Hereditary. This film doesn't just mess with your head, it completely destroys you. After the death of a secretive grandmother, a family begins uncovering disturbing truths about their ancestry, and things quickly spiral into something far darker than they could ever imagine. After the shocking death of a certain character, if you know, you know, things get even more and more insane from then on in. This This film hits on every single level, emotionally, psychologically, and visually. It's not just scary, it is actually quite a draining film. You feel the grief, you feel the confusion, and the complete lack of the control. And there are moments in this film that genuinely will stay with you long after finishing. Not just because this is a loud film, but because everything about it is just so raw and real. And also, guys, those final 10 minutes of this film will stick with you for a long time.
Don't you swear at me, you little shit! Don't you ever raise your voice at me! I am your mother! Do you understand? All I do is worry and slave and defend you, and all I get back is that fucking face on your face! So full of disdain and resentment and always so annoyed. Well, now your sister is dead. And I know you miss her. And I know it was an accident, and I know you're in pain, and I wish I could take that away for you. I wish I could shield you from the knowledge that you did what you did, but your sister is dead!
And finally, number 1, Jacob's Ladder. This is psychological horror at its absolute best. Jacob's Ladder is a 1990 American psychological horror film directed by Adrian Lyne and written by Bruce Joel Rubin. Now, we follow a Vietnam War veteran who begins experiencing terrifying hallucinations and struggling to distinguish reality from delusion. The deeper the film goes, the more unstable everything becomes. You're constantly questioning what's real, what's imagined, and what it all actually means. When it all finally comes together, it completely recontextualizes everything that you have just watched. This isn't just a horror film, it is a psychological horror at its absolute peak and an absolute golden horror classic. So yeah, those are 10 horror movies that really do not rely on those jump scares, but instead it does get inside your head and stays there. If you've seen any of these films, then please let me know what you thought, and if there's any that messed with your head and I didn't actually mention it in today's video, drop them in the comments box below. Alright then guys, well thank you all for stopping by and watching today's video. Make sure you do smash that subscribe button, stay safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.